Mr. Clout Chaser, Mr. Unbelievable, uninformed, untouched Black man, you are a disgrace to our race.
And I started thinking to myself, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
Single moms can't catch a break, and neither can Jason Whitlock. Welcome back to another video with the Unspecialist.
No racial group in America is more out of line with God's natural order than Black people. 70% of our kids are born to unwed mothers. We don't view family as a necessity for success. It's just one of many options. It's prioritized well below allegiance to racial idolatry, the Democrat political party, and hip-hop culture. Those allegiances have made us hostile to a biblical worldview, indifferent toward marriage, and convinced there's little value in male leadership. Scripture is the kryptonite that weakens us rather than the cape we wrap ourselves in to unleash superpowers. Yeah, baby mama culture explains the Tyre Nichols tragedy.
Jason Whitlock is getting a lot of smoke for bringing up single mothers in the aftermath of the situation involving Tyre Nichols. As you would have seen in the clip, Whitlock believes that what happened to Tyre is a result of men being raised by Black single mothers. He brought up the commonly quoted stats, the connection to liberalism, moral and cultural degeneracy, and pretty much every factor that plays into the baby mama culture. In a vacuum, Whitlock makes a pertinent point. However, he was off the mark with that comment. Let's discuss why. In the body cam footage, you see the 5 officers brutalize Tyre. Those are 5 grown men, 5 men in uniform, each with responsibilities and reputations to uphold, their own reputations as well as the agency which they represent. The responsibility for their actions has to lie with them first and foremost. Besides, at that age, you have to take responsibility for your actions. So, to put it simply, the Tyre Nichols case is one of weak and irresponsible men using their authority to victimize another man. As officers of the law, they are held, or should be held, to a higher standard of discipline than the general population. Regardless of your childhood and family background, earning the privilege to wear that badge should be a sign that they're an upstanding citizen at least, and an leading example for other people ideally. We could get into the hiring process of these officers and their training if we want to understand how this incident happened. However, let's take it back to Jason Whitlock's comments.
And this is a story about young Black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young Black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young Black men do when they're supervised by a single Black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some Black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion.
Maybe we can trace all these officers' actions back to being raised by single mothers. I don't know their family backgrounds, so I can't say whether or not Whitlock's statement was true in relation to that. However, we can acknowledge that single mother homes tend to create the men that fit the profile of the 5 officers that committed this heinous act. I think Whitlock's statements were poorly timed. He seemed to have been waiting to deliver a monologue about baby mama culture, and Tyre Nichols' case was just a convenient excuse to comment. There was possibly a vague connection to baby mama culture at best, and several other issues in the forefront. At the time Whitlock made his comments, details about the motive were not even confirmed, so most of his detractors felt justified in attacking him for what they considered to be insensitive comments. In this case, I think Whitlock is guilty of having a group of canned responses or talking points to pull out and use whenever national or international news breaks. He'll use them whether or not they properly apply to the situation at hand. This is something conservative commentators are notorious for and get called out for. Liberals do the same thing too. How often have you heard patriarchy or toxic masculinity used as an explanation for why men do things or as a reason for the existence of some issue in modern society? While I believe that Whitlock spoke imprecisely and with poor timing, the backlash from his comments revealed some things about baby mama culture. The mainstream clearly doesn't want to change it. If anything, the mainstream feverishly defends it. You can't criticize or shine light on baby mama culture in the US, in the West, or specifically among black women without fierce backlash or making yourself the target of a witch hunt. How do we know this? Well, they went straight to clowning Jason Whitlock. There were very few responses that were intellectual and actually made attempts to dissect his comments. Everybody just went straight to saying, oh, he's insensitive, he hates black women, he's a coon, and a long list of pejoratives as opposed to actually dealing with what he said, whether there was truth in it or not.
If Jason Whitlock proves anything, is that you do not have to be white to hate black people. And I can understand, how can we expect Jason to see the plight of black people when this dude can't even see his own So
Mr. Clout Chaser, Mr. Unbelievable, uninformed, untouched black man, you are a disgrace to our race. And I'm glad every black woman was proud to tell you, really, the backbone of this country and a lot of wonderful things that are happening are because of black women. It doesn't matter if they're single or if they're married or whatever they is. They've been there for their children forever and will always be. Wow. How dare you? You're such an idiot. And that's what I think of you. You're a clout chaser. You get more attention this week than what you done got in a while.
Do you think Whitlock was off base in his comments about single mothers being the root cause of the Tyre Nichols incident? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content in the future. This is the Unspecialist saying, clearly, you can have baby mama drama simply by talking about baby mamas. Peace.
My actions don't require any defense. In the same situation, I'd do it again.